here with Sherm with Politics. We are at the Foot Politics Party at Miami Music Week. Yeah, thank you so much for being here and
of course,
taking this time with us. And why don't you tell us a little bit about this party and how it came together?
Yeah, so Miami Music Week 2024, aka Spring Break for Hood Politics Records 2024. This is a really special moment for our label because last year we had a Miami Music Week party, which was so much fun. But to see the turnout already, I mean, what is it, like 7 p.m. right now, and it's absolutely popping. So I'm the A&R for the label and the label manager, so I help book the lineup and curate it all, and it's just so cool. It's literally like Homie Fest, man. Like, so much fun. And so many young producers come to this just to introduce themselves, and that's what I always recommend. If you want to get in front of the right people, come out, put a face to the name. So it's been really fun so far. I love Miami Music Week.
Yeah, how was this year compared to last year? Like for this party, for just where the label's at?
Yeah, like I said, it speaks numbers for where the label is at. The label's been around for almost 6.5 years now, and I came in about 2 years ago. So, you know, I know all the stories, but now I've been really part of the growth over the past year, and that starts with the music. So we take really good care of our artists. That's what's different about us. It's really about community, not competition. So when we throw events like this, you can just tell, man, everybody's here for a good time. Everybody knows each other. It's a really, really special vibe. So just compared to last year and this year, it's the same people, but just with a lot more new fans.
Yeah.
So that's the most special part too. People coming up and saying, we love the politics, we love the energy, we love the artists. We got some really sick female artists on the lineup today. Anna England and Camden Cox, who are good friends of DJ Susan. So we have a lot of people to thank for making this so successful.
Oh yeah, I can really like feel that positive energy out there.
Oh, absolutely, man. It's the best.
Yeah, would you have any new music coming out for you after the label you want to talk about?
Yeah, so we just released a Miami Music Week sampler. We always like to do samplers for different big parties in the year. We've done an Amsterdam Dance Event sampler, Miami Music Week sampler. We do a lot of city editions of basically a compilation of a way to showcase artists and producers in a city. We've done Chicago All-Stars, Denver All-Stars. And to us, it's not about the big artists that are coming on the label. Now, obviously, as we've grown, bigger artists are releasing on the label. But we always want to pay respects to the homies that have been there with us since the beginning. So a lot of the artists on the lineup today, Smith and Soaring, Curly Heads, Ghetto Birds, Step Todd, they've been with us since the beginning. They're ride or dies. So they were on this sampler that we just did. I just had a track called Suddenly that came out on the sampler. Really proud of it. It's an absolute fucking banger. You might have to bleep that, but I have to say the F word because it goes that hard. But I've been releasing a lot of music. I'm currently on tour, actually, for a track called Toxic that came out on Hood Politics February 16th. So I've been touring around different cities like Madison, Wisconsin, San Francisco, Denver. Just went to Atlanta, opened up for Steve Aoki. I just announced the second leg of the tour, where I'm going to be going to Denver again. I'm playing my first gig in LA. So stoked about it. Playing at Academy, opening for Side Piece. So yeah, the label's in a really special place, and it's awesome for me, even as A&R and label manager, to release on it. I feel like an artist when I do. Yeah.
So you've been DJing for years. What was the first moment like really got you into dance music?
Yeah, so I've been DJing for about 10 years now. I'm lucky enough that I came up in really the golden era of EDM. So my first show was Avicii as a college student at IU, literally in a backfield. And if you've ever read his book called Tim, he mentions Bloomington, Indiana in this book, and I was at this show. And this was right after Levels was released. Really a peak moment for me. And I remember just watching his stage presence and just seeing the energy of the crowd. And I thought, man, I just want to do something like this. So I'm lucky enough to have been able to continue pursuing this passion and this dream. And now I'm blessed enough to say that it's all coming together.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
So it's all coming together now. Were there any moments that you're like getting burnt out or like felt like giving up along the way?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, all the time. There's a lot of moments in an artist's career where there's a lot of highs and you peak and everyone's all about it. And then you start to plateau. And the important thing that artists need to remember is that a plateau is not going down. You're staying consistent. You're doing something better every single day. 1-inch punches, right? You learn something new in the studio. You create a new piece of content. You make a new connection. You make a new friend. You start a collab. That's going like this, just a little bit. Yeah. So when you're in that dark room by yourself, so to speak, or really, because a lot of producers produce in a dark room with just their laptop, you got to know that as long as you love what you do and you look yourself in the mirror and say, I'm proud of what I'm trying to do, that's all that matters.
if you're talking about a dark room, are you saying that maybe like collaborations and being part of a crowd helps?
It's a lot of loneliness,
Yeah.
right? So you've heard artists talk about the tour life. You play in front of crowds of 4,000 people, and you go back to your hotel and you're sitting there like, okay, well, I'm by myself now.
Yeah.
And then you realize, okay, like there's so many highs, but there's a lot of blank space, so to speak, right? So when I say a dark room, just those moments alone that don't have to be loneliness, but they need to be sort of acted upon like their fulfillment, right? Like I'm working hard now to set myself up for situations like success, right? I'm a huge basketball fan, right? Everybody knows perfect practice makes perfect, right? So take your time in the studio, take your time with your content, work hard, and it will all work out for you.
So what do you do during all of that time on tour? Like,
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things I do in the background. I have a podcast that I do called Sherm in the Booth. I just released my 225th episode. Been doing that for over 7 years. So that's a great way for me to stay inspired, stay driven. And some of the other things I do just to literally feel connected to the industry when I don't feel like I need to be always making music. Love making content, videos of myself, just listening to music. Obviously, as A&R for Hood Politics Records, I'm lucky enough to hear so many different types of music. So I try to fill my time with things that I really enjoy, and I don't put too much pressure on myself to try and make every day like a big win. It's like I said, those 1-inch punches, man.
yeah, I like the punch punches you're talking about, like ways to fill time. That's also building community, like reaching out, like with a podcast. And that's not just saying you're always in the DAW, always working all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can, there's lots of ways that you can move yourself forward that aren't just producing music.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, as a producer, you have to realize we're in an artistic field where your talent is subjective, right? So your music, if it's you, it might not speak to everybody, but does it speak to you? Because I think we can all agree, if you think about your favorite artists, you love them for them because they love their music, right? So there's a lot of points in an artist's career when you make music where you're inspired by something and you might copy it, and that's okay, but start from there and then try and branch out. Find inspirations elsewhere. Like I said, collaborations. I love collabing with other producers. You know, I'm humble and honest enough to know that right now I'm not the best at starting an idea. I don't know music theory. I played the French horn in 6th grade, man. You know, that's like as far as I go, right?
Yeah.
All I remember is the goddamn case bumping into my knee. But when it comes down to stuff like that, you have to know we're in a world where you can learn anything. YouTube University, people are open, they want to collaborate, and you know, from an international market, America is a booming scene right now, and there's still a lot to be found out about it, and a lot of growth still to be seen. So, you know, there's a lot of people actually here that I know from Amsterdam and the Netherlands, which is like the epicenter of European music, and they love dance music in America. So it's cool to collaborate with them on stuff like that.
Yeah. So we were talking about, you know, so much of this happens by yourself in a dark room.
Yeah.
I think that attracts a lot of people who are introverts. But earlier on, you're saying, you know, go out and make those connections.
Yeah.
So do you have any advice for people that would consider themselves introverts that are trying to break in?
Great question. This comes up a lot. A lot of times producers speak with their music and not with their words, because I look at this as a business as much as I am an artist. I'm realistic about that because I do a lot of things in the background. And if you're not great with people or willing to introduce yourself, not willing, but like feel confident about that, dude, wingman, bring somebody who might be. Find that middle ground. Talk to somebody you know and use them as a way to get to know somebody. For me, when I became a DJ in Chicago, I was shocked at how difficult it was to introduce myself to people. So that's why I started the podcast, actually. I interviewed talent buyers, other DJs, other producers, and I got to have those one-on-one conversations like this. I always say find a way to bring value to others because it's a take, ask industry.
Yeah.
So whatever you can do to actually differentiate yourself and offer value, try and find that.
That's good. We hear that that advice a lot. It's like, always offer value, always offer value.
Yeah.
So if you're just producing on your own, you're like, I don't have anything to offer. I just have these tracks and they're above me. But really, you have to be creative and think of different ways. I like the podcast idea for that.
Yeah, I'm not saying you have to start a podcast, but you got to start with something. You know, people like me, we get hit up all the time by people of all walks of life, all different ranges of talent. But the people that really stick out to me are the people that I get along with, that I see hustle and try and put their music out there. There's so many good producers out there that just don't release music because they think they have to be on a legit label.
Yeah.
And guess what happens? They never release that music. They're doing a service to themselves and the fans that haven't found out who they are yet. So if you only are really good at making music and that's only where you're at right now, you're going to have to go outside your comfort zone, but start with ways that you can really make that happen comfortably, if that makes sense.
Yeah, everything you ever want is just outside your comfort zone.
I know, man. You got to go to grow. That's what I say.
Okay, here's a weird one. If music didn't exist at all, what would you be doing?
Great question. My wife will hate this answer, but God, I'd fucking kill it at a steakhouse as a waiter, man. I love that shit so much.
Yes.
I'm telling you,
God.
I don't get yelled at. My wife's like, do you have to be friends with everybody? And I'm like, I can't help it. I love people. I really love the hospitality industry, whether that's culinary or hotels or venues and stuff like that. So that's probably where I'd be, somewhere in the hospitality industry.
Yeah.
I like taking care of others.
That's so cool. I've definitely never heard that answer before. So
I like that. I like talking to new people.
Yeah, just like eating in front of people.
I'm the
like
guy that talks to the Uber driver. That's just who I am. Yeah.
I think that's really good for being in this scene.
Somebody's got to.
Yeah. So, and, you know, Nia Now is an artist collective, and our mission is really just connect people from all parts of the electronic music industry. Do you have any parting words for just people in the industry starting off that are at a certain point?
Yeah, I mean, love what you do. Don't feel like you have to set a long-term goal and work towards that, because as cliche as it is to say, it is all about the journey. And you're going to go left, you're going to go right, you're going to go straight, and you're going to go back. But just because you go back does not mean that you're slowing down. So just believe in your true self and just focus and stay locked in and love what you do every day. It's like I said, you look in the mirror, do you genuinely enjoy this thing that you're trying to do? Because like I said, don't forget, art is subjective, right? Think about all the artists that have been famous. It's something I love too, right? These artists are famous after they die. They're not appreciated while they're alive. But guess what? They love what they did and they didn't let anybody get in their way. So follow that mantra to the best of your ability.
Awesome. Sure. Thank you so much for sending
Yeah, absolutely. Love Neon Al, man. Let's go. Put Politics Records, baby.
I just wanna dance.